What's up, guys? It's Wolverine, Death Machine, Mr. GMSI himself, Brian Cage, and you're watching True Hill Heat. Who better? Nobody.
Rob Van Dam, listen to True Hill Heat. Pow. This is the knockout artist, Chris Hero. And if you're looking for some true heel heat, you better listen to them boys.
Hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for AEW Collision Review. Yes, Collision Discourse is back. And yes, I am by myself once again to discuss AEW Collision. You know the deal. Welcome to the show. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, welcome. This is where we discuss AEW Collision as only we can. We love to discuss all the weekly coverage of WWE, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. So if it's your first time with us, welcome. And remember, we appreciate you for joining us live. We appreciate you if you're watching us on demand. Show that appreciation back. Drop the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. We want to thank everyone who has already hit that subscribe button and allowing us to hit that 11,000 milestone that we did last week. And we're going to start off this week with some Collision Discourse. But you can also check out all the great content that we got here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, like Servant Face and Heels from yesterday, like the True Hill Heat flagship podcast from this past Saturday with Sat E. Niangi and Alex McCarthy. So you can check out all that great stuff after you are done here with Collision Discourse. But thank you all for joining us live. If you're with us in the live chat, remember to sound off. I love to interact with all of you. You'll be my co-hosts until someone shows up. Drunk guy JJ, sober guy JJ, organic guy JJ, can't message you if he's going to be late JJ, can't realize it's 105 JJ, like whatever JJ shows up, we will figure it out. And we will talk to him about AEW Collision. But until then, I want to interact with all of you. So sound off in the live chat. Let me know what you thought about last Saturday's AEW Collision. What have you been thinking about the AEW Continental Classic? Because it's been a lot of kind of polarizing opinions, whether it be about the round table format, whether it be about the table, whether it be about the Triple Crown championship, which is the prize for the winner of the tournament, whether it be about certain people losing certain matches. There's been a lot of complaints, there's been a lot of praise, there's been a lot of polarizing discussion when it comes to the AEW Continental Classic. So this is the platform where we're going to discuss it more in depth. We got a bunch of people I see in the chat already. I see G Loke, the good brother. He says, "What it do at True Hill Heat? I'm ready for another banger. Smash up that like button." Thank you so much, G Loke. Appreciate you. We got Christopher Kidd who says, "And we live." He also says, "Let me hop on the live SP3." I mean, if Sober Guy does not make it here in a certain amount of time, maybe I will just put out the link in the live chat for anyone who wants to join me, because yeah, I'm a little disappointed. I'll admit when I'm a little disappointed, because he could have just contacted me and told me, "Oh, I need 5 more minutes." Anyway, let's go into AEW Collision from December 2nd, 2023. This the last Saturday show was from Erie, Pennsylvania, the Erie Insurance Arena. Of course, on commentary, you had Tony Schiavone, Nigel McGuinness, and Kevin Kelly. And we kicked off the show how we usually kick off a lot of the AEW Collision broadcast, with the cold opening, which I always really pop for and enjoy. Notably, you had Brody King. He talks about he is here to prove why he's not just an upset win. He's the most dominant wrestler in this tournament. Claudio Castagnoli says the time for talking is over tonight. He takes the King's head. CJ Perry is with Andrade, and she says her client will destroy Garcia again and take home that fat check, because he is Andrade the idol, and he says El Idolo. Garcia says he gets mad when someone like Andrade comes in and thinks they can step on someone like him, and he's not having it. Garcia wants to put someone like him in his place. And then we get Bryan Danielson, who doesn't want a depressed Eddie Kingston. He wants the Kingston that won the Ring of Honor World Championship. He wants the best version of Kingston, because if he doesn't, Danielson will hurt him. And Eddie Kingston gets he says the cold open thing is what we do on Collision, but he doesn't have time. He has to go get ready, as he doesn't want to go 0-2 in this tournament, and he doesn't care about Bryan Danielson's eye, his arm. He only cares about winning, so he's gonna bust him up. So I thought this was a good opening to the show. All the promos had a purpose, hyping up the Continental Classic. I think overall, my overall thoughts is that the presentation has been strong when it comes to the Continental Classic. They are making it feel important. We're getting basically matches that have stakes, that don't need a championship on the line. There's a championship at the end of the rainbow, as they say, at the end of the tournament, but we're getting non-title bouts that are of importance. And it's very much helping the structure of AEW's television shows. We saw it on Dynamite this past week. Me and Jimmy talked about it on AE Ramble, where you're getting 3 great matches, and then you're getting 2 long promo segments that are noteworthy, that have a purpose, that are progressing major storylines on the show. That's what we've been seeing on Dynamite the last 2 weeks. And then over here on Collision, last week it was very strong with the 2 tournament matches, with Garcia versus Castagnoli and Kingston versus King. And then this week we had the 3 match format. We didn't have the promos that we see on Dynamite, so you can more or less you can miss a lot of the stuff in the middle of the between the tournament matches, even though there was a setup for new stories in between the tournament matches, or progression, or building up the animosity and the heat in different stories in between the tournament matches. But I really much have loved the presentation, with the graphics, with the explanation of the rules every single week. In case, I feel like this is the most that AEW has catered to a casual viewer, to someone that is just turning on the TV, that says, "Oh, I want to watch wrestling tonight," never seen AEW before. They can tap in immediately from the start of the show, and you're kind of giving them the previously on AEW. This is what's going on. The important thing is the AEW Continental Classic. How does this go? It's a round robin tournament. There is 6 people in each block. They verse every other person in the block. It's a 20-minute time limit. You get 3 points for a win. You get 1 point for a draw, 0 points for a loss. And then the people who have the best 2 records in each block face off. And then the winners of those matches, the winners of the final 4, versus in the finals at World's End for the Triple Crown, the Ring of Honor World Championship, the NJPW Strong Openweight Championship, and the AEW Continental Championship to make up the new Triple Crown Championship. It's very simple. I think that a lot of people think that because it's multiple words that it takes to explain all of that, that it's confusing. No, some people are just dumb. I think that's what we got to realize. Some people are just dumb. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. We got in the chat here. We got G Loke says you never lied. It's SP3. Thank you so much, G Loke. Appreciate you. He also says, where is sober JJ? Did he have a drink last night? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. We also got Christopher Kidd who says the C2 is growing anticipation right on schedule for a first-time tournament of this style on US mainstream. Yes, and you're also right, Christopher Kidd. They are dumb as hell. Dumb as hell for no fucking reason. No reason. It's no reason to be this dumb. So I like the presentation of the Continental Classic. I think the matches have delivered as well, but I will say we stepped up the quality of the Continental Classic on this episode of AEW Collision. So let's get into it. I've spent like 11 minutes breaking down Continental Classic and opening to the show. This man told me, what was this? He told me a few minutes ago. Yeah, he told me now 4 minutes ago, about to join in 1 minute. What the fuck? 1 minute, hey, I'm about to message him. 1 minute, huh? 1 minute, huh? What the fuck? How does he? What is this concept of time? I don't know. This is just becoming becoming a review of Collision as well as my annoyance with the amount of CP time in Sober Guy JJ. That's what this is becoming. My review of his CP time. But yes, let's start off the show. The opening match on the show was, of course, a part of the AEW Continental Classic. Over in the Blue League, we got the House of Black's Brody King going one-on-one with the Blackpool Combat Club's Claudio Castagnoli. I love how this match played into a storyline that's been going on Collision, where you've been having House of Black kind of really targeting FTR, but also targeting the Blackpool Combat Club. We saw a singles matchup on the Go Home show to AEW Full Gear between Buddy Matthews and Wheeler Yuta, with Buddy Matthews winning. Then Claudio Castagnoli beating Buddy Matthews on the Full Gear 0 Hour pre-show, which made it 1-1 between these two stables. So this is the third match, kind of a tiebreaker between these two stables. And boy, oh boy, did this kind of exceed my expectations. They just came out, and the move to remember in this matchup is Lariat. Because they come out right out the gate, they start clubbing each other. We get lariats from both guys with neither guy falling down. They just keep coming into each other with big clotheslines over and over again. Big old strikes, big chops, big European uppercuts. This was a physical affair, a hard-hitting opener. Finally, Claudio gained the advantage, clotheslining Brody King to the outside to the floor. Brody King eventually whips Claudio into the barricade in return, sending him into the barricade before we go to commercial break. We got the big chops by Brody King. He's just a overpowering individual, and I love the fact that they put him in this tournament, because already through 2 matches, you're putting a bigger spotlight on Brody King, who I thought was going to be one of the major kind of like stars that we were making in 2023. If you remember the AEW Revolution matchup between the Elite and House of Black, Brody King was the MVP of that matchup, and it really felt like that the House of Black was going to be a vehicle to make Brody King a single star. But this tournament seems like it's going to be that vehicle, because through 2 matches, he has delivered the goods. We get King with a big suplex on Claudio over the barricade, back to the ringside area, chops to Claudio. We get back in the ring. Claudio tries to fight back, but he gets put down more by more chops. King grounds Claudio for a submission attempt, but Claudio rings at his arm and gets back on his feet. A big body slam by Brody, and then a standing senton sends Claudio reeling. We get a splash in the corner by King. Claudio gets behind, takes out his legs. He goes for the swing, but King kicks him away. But Claudio comes back with a big running double stomp. He only gets a 2 count with that one, though. Claudio signals for the big swing, and he finally gets it. Swings the almost 300-pound, over 300-pound Brody King, then gets him into the sharpshooter, but Brody King scratches and claws. Great sell, getting his way to the ropes to break up that one. We get a German suplex by King, then a big cannonball. He only gets a 1 count. We get a DVD by Claudio, but he only gets a 1 count. Just the fighting spirit on display. We get Claudio going for a neutralizer, but King flips him overhead. Claudio dives off the middle rope, but he's met with a big clubbing forearm. A big power driver follows up, only gets Brody King a 2 count. And then finally, we started the match with a lariat, and we end the match with a big lariat, and Brody King picks up the victory. 12 minutes, 32 seconds. A hell of a matchup, a great match to open the show. And Brody King once again showing why he should be a single star and a future singles champion in All Elite Wrestling. This was physical from the get-go, what you would call a banger, folks. Really enjoyed this one. Brody King, it's like I said, it's just been a big spotlight for him. And now he's beating 2 former Ring of Honor world champions in Claudio Castagnoli and Eddie Kingston. Well, Eddie Kingston, the current Ring of Honor world champion, is a very impressive showing so far. And he still is going to verse Bryan Danielson, folks. He still has a match with Bryan Danielson, but yet and still, he's delivered 2 great matches to open up the Continental Classic. So, Brody King, my hat's off to you. We got Christopher Kidd who says Brody, Claudio. We also got G Loki says he got hit to wash his face. That's what we call a long night. Indeed. It was a long night for Claudio Castagnoli. Not as easy a matchup as he had the week prior, and that was a tough matchup with Daniel Garcia. But Brody King, you better pack a lunch because that big boy, he gonna give you some trouble. Can't wait for him and Bryan Danielson. Can't wait for his rematch with Daniel Garcia, which he's going to try to get some revenge for that. And now the question is Brody King going to make at least the group final? I don't know if he'll make the final at World's End, but does he make the group final? He's like the big monster of the tournament. And we've seen this before. We've seen it with Bad Luck Fale in the G1 Climax. Saw it with Jeff Cobb as well as Jonah a couple of years back in the G1 Climax. These monsters can really dominate and make it all the way to the end. So maybe we get Brody King in the league final, the Blue League final, maybe. Next up, over in the Gold League, we hear from Jon Moxley following his victory over Jay Lethal on AEW Dynamite this past week. He talks about he's pretty banged up, and he says the last 4 years may be catching up with him. His neck, his back, his knees, he lives with pain every day, and he's sick of it all. He's pissed off at his body failing on him, and he will do the only thing he knows, and he will fight his way out of it. Every drop of sweat, will, and effort will go into this tournament, and he will give every ounce of his being. There is no one in this tournament that can do what he can do and can do anything worse to him than his demons he fights on a daily basis. If they think they can, please take your shot. Jon Moxley, as Jimmy Macaram always tells us, the best 2-minute promo in the game. You put a camera in front of him, you put him in a backstage area, especially in a pre-tape like this, or just off the cuff like this probably was right after his match with Jay Lethal. He's one of the best in the business, and he sells you on anything. Sells you on this tournament. He will sell you on buying the Brooklyn Bridge. That's how good Jon Moxley is at these 2-minute promos backstage. He is the man when it comes to that. And finally, after I ripped you to shreds for the past now 20 minutes,
Oh, that's
This
cute.
guy told me 1 minute, like 12 minutes ago.
I said in a minute. I didn't mean 1 minute.
You said the words you wrote were about to join 1 minute.
Oh, I meant to say in a minute because it definitely wasn't going to be 1 minute. I had to run downstairs and pick up a package.
Well, you're here. You're here. You're finally here. Yes, it is Sober Guy JJ. How are you doing, Sober Guy?
It's the greatest day of my life. It's a great week. I'm lying. I don't think it's a great week. Fuck this week.
I mean, Randy Orton's back, so you should be happy.
Yeah, the Viper God is back. It's got happy day. But we don't talk about other wrestling product on AEW. So
Hell, that it happens. We got here in the chat. We got Christopher Kidd who says his Andrade match is going to be flames. That is very true. They had a really great matchup on Collision. On the early days of Collision. Brody King and Andrade. What did you think about Brody King versus Claudio Castagnoli?
Dope opener. Brody King has been killing it this tournament so far. I've been thoroughly enjoyed what he's been doing. Good way to start off Collision. Seeing how I have not watched Collision in a while, just as much as we haven't filmed. So,
we're on a 1 month sabbatical. The last one we did was the MJF Kenny Omega one, which you weren't on.
That was the last Collision I watched. I think I watched like highlights here and there, of course, because of Adam Copeland. But I have not fully watched the Collision show. But this was a good way to bring me back in to a few good tournament matches. So nonetheless,
we got Christopher Kidd who says Mox on a mic is one of the best there is, and he also says Mox versus Kingston at World's End. I'm still holding out hope for my Bryan Danielson versus Swerve Strickland prediction. That's what I'm holding out hope for.
Yeah, I think Bryan Danielson for sure be wrestling a tournament match at World's End. That'd be crazy if literally they promoted the tournament with him basically right there in mind. I mean, that would be, I think, a no-brainer, but who knows?
Who knows? G-Lug saying, what it do at Sober JJ? We got next up on the show, the second match saw Abaddon. They are back, and it's not Halloween season. So, and this is better than she's been doing the last year. It's not Halloween season, and she's back on TV. We had Abaddon go against Kiera Hogan here in this one. Kiera Hogan on TV as well, so got to give it to them. This one was a short one. It went 3 minutes, 41 seconds. Abaddon looking dominant, hitting the Black Dahlia, the leg-assisted DDT to pick up the victory in this one. I was like, okay, this is strange because these are none of the people that we usually use in this situation. So where is this heading? What is this leading to? And I immediately got my answer as Abaddon was celebrating her win. The lights went out, and when the lights came back on, it was the battle of the spooky bitches. Julia Hart was in the ring. Julia Hart was in the ring to stare down with Abaddon. Abaddon looked to get close to the TBS champion before the lights went out and Abaddon disappeared into the night. What did you think about Abaddon versus Kiera Hogan? And what did you think about Julia Hart coming out to confront Abaddon? This guy choking? Is he choking?
Choke got paused. That doesn't even sound good.
Whoa!
I said choke got JJ. It just doesn't sound good. But yes, I was choking. Who gives a fuck about the match? The battle of the spooky bitches. I guess that's what we're calling it now.
Absolutely, we are.
This is definitely gonna be probably a 2-week Collision feud. Get this shit over with. This is not anything we're gonna see in the long run. So who really cares?
I care. I want to see it.
I mean, this is
give me what I want,
show.
JJ.
Paul, what?
I said, give me what I want. I want Abaddon versus Julia Hart.
No, you'll get it on Collision in like a week.
No, I want it on a pay-per-view. Give me a real feud. Give me a feud. World's End's in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, I don't see her doing anything else right now. Julia Hart, ain't she still kind of feuding with like Sky Blue and them? Or is that
no, Sky Blue's feuding with Timeless Tony
Storm.
Storm.
Timeless Tony Storm now, right? Yeah, right. So.
We got here G Loke who says, who you guys think is the master of taking chops? Of taking chops? Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe. The way Mark Briscoe just says, "Come on," and just takes all the chops. And the way he was taking Rush's chops on Wednesday on Dynamite, I gotta say it's Mark Briscoe for now. But moving on to the next segment, we go backstage where Samoa Joe is backstage with Alex Marvez to address being furious with MJF for accepting the tag team challenge for this coming Wednesday against the Masked Men. But here comes Roderick Strong who says, Samoa! Not even Joe. Not even Joe. He said, Samoa! Strong says he's willing to forgive him for almost breaking his neck twice, but he wants to warn him that MJF is the devil. Strong's best friend Adam is a fan of Joe, and he seems to like Joe a lot. So as Cole's good friend is a fan of him, that makes Joe Strong's new best friend by proxy. So he says, "Let me let you know, Wednesday is a setup by the devil. He's probably plotting how to do it right now." Strong checks to see if Joe is listening, and Joe just basically laughs and walks away. I don't care what anybody says. I still enjoy this Roderick Strong act.
Oh no, 100%. What? Who's bitching? I wouldn't be surprised. But like, what are they complaining about? I love it.
They complain about everything. You know this
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. Sadly, they fucking do. What are they complaining about? This is the best character work Roderick Strong I think he's had his whole career, and that's saying a lot. Roderick Strong's been the fucking man for a very long time, in my humble opinion.
I agree. He's always been a worker in the ring, but he's never done this like great of work on the mic as a character until here. But yes, him say Samoa. I was like, why you didn't just call him Joe?
Right, Joe. Joe would still work.
Would have still worked. That's what made it funnier is that he said Samoa. All right.
That's his thing. He's just gonna go by the first names.
Yes, exactly. Next up, we had another Continental Classic matchup as Andrade El Idolo had his first matchup in the Blue League against Daniel Garcia. On commentary, we had Daddy Magic, who wants the pervert cameraman to not to zoom on me. Too close. No, you pervert. They tie up to begin. We get more of a like technical wrestling matchup. We get a little bit of the character work with Andrade doing the pose, and then Garcia faking like he was going to do the dance. I like that Garcia a couple of times in this matchup faked like he was going to do the dance, but never did in the match. They had a nice little Three Amigos exchange where both guys was hitting the Three Amigos before Andrade hits a big superplex off the top rope and then follows up with the two other Amigos for a 2 count. We get a figure 4 attempt, but Garcia reverses that into the sharpshooter. At one point, we get also Andrade drinking Woo energy on the outside. But the finish comes the finish comes when Andrade went for that figure 4, and then Garcia reverses it into the sharpshooter. He tries to go back into the Dragon Tamer, but once again, the Dragon Tamer and him trying to go too far back on it is the reason why he loses, as he loses the grip of the Dragon Tamer, and Andrade escapes in, reverses into the Hammerlock DDT to get his first 3 points in the Blue League of the Continental Classic. I thought this was a really good matchup, a step up from their previous match, but these guys showed better chemistry this time around than their previous matchup. What did you think about Andrade versus Garcia here?
And also to add on what you just said, I feel like they got more time too. Match definitely like I got more time in the match. A good matchup, definitely a great matchup. Well, not a great matchup, very good matchup. Andrade and of course Garcia, two great workhorses for AEW, so I didn't expect nothing less. Like you said, I enjoyed the fake out with Garcia acting like he was going to do it throughout the whole match. Another thing that people probably going to complain about, but it's working, so let it be. I really hope at this point, I don't know, and I don't think Andrade probably even cares either. Like, I just don't know where they go with him, you know.
I think he's just biding his time until
I was about to say that.
his contract expires. Honestly, at this point,
Like I feel like they tried to get the ball rolling with him when they first started Collision, and then literally after this, I wouldn't even call it the House of Black feud because he only fought fucking Matthews and Brody King. They never even finished that. It just took him off TV. So it's like I don't. He's like he's obviously a great character, great wrestler in the ring, but it's like if you have nothing for him, you can't really expect us to be invested, even though they're in the tournament. So it's like.
Well, he's one of the guys in the tournament that has an ongoing storyline that exists out of the tournament, as we'll get into with the whole CJ Perry and Miro thing.
Yeah, but it's like what plans do they really have for him as well? Like you said, like he's just buying his time until it's time to go, and I don't want that. I wish that wasn't the case for him. Hopefully things turn around. Maybe it's not.
Yeah, maybe this whole Miro and Andrade thing is leading to them being a tag team of miserable people who want to go back to WWE. Next up, we get a quick little recap of the Gold League action from Dynamite this past week, and then after commercial break, we hear from Willie Mack, who addresses Warlow. He says, "You don't put your hands on Mack's friends." He talks about what Warlow did to AR Fox on Dynamite, and he says he's going to have to reach out and touch him. And next week, he better pack his lunch because Mack is a big boy. I love the way Billy Mack is not a good promo, but tries to make it sound as hood as possible.
Right.
What did you think about this?
I was about to say, if anybody should have the nerve to be talking about doing heinous things, it's definitely not fucking AR Fox. That's for one. I don't care. Warlow's about to kill Willie Mack in like fucking 2-3 minutes. So
well, I like the fact that they are giving logical reasons for otherwise matches we would have got like as an announcement by Tony Khan on Twitter.
Right,
and they did this a lot on this episode in particular because we got a segment with like Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Martinez to set up a match with them. Like they did this a lot where they are coming up with explanations for like lower card matches either for next week or the week after or multiple weeks. I like that.
Right. But yeah, that's not something I'm gonna be invested in with Wardlow and freaking Willie Mack, but we'll see. Maybe he gets a nice little showing since he is coming in.
You're being racist towards Willie Mack.
No, I love my nigga. I mean, I love my black people.
I'm not being. I love that nigger.
The words and opinions of Jimmy Mackram do not necessarily reflect those of True Heel Heat, its viewers, or affiliates.
That's the wrong one.
The words and opinions of Sober Guy JJ do not necessarily reflect those of True Heel Heat, its viewers, or affiliates.
Talk about me being racist, you're gonna use another black man who's warning. That's crazy. It's a cold world we live in.
It's like they're all the same. All the same warning.
They're both ignorant.
Next we get Roderick Strong shouting, "Gotcha!" as he makes his way to the ring. Strong wants to say something to his new best friend by proxy, Samoa Joe. The fact that he is calling the man that broke his neck his best friend, it's hilarious. Everything he said backstage is true. He says Max is the devil, and Joe will find out it soon enough. Strong dedicates this next match to his best friend, Adam, and sends the Kingdom into the ring to beat their opponent's asses. We get Iron Savages versus the OGK next. This is another short matchup going 2 minutes, 30 seconds. They at least gave the Iron Savages time to kind of run wild at the beginning here before the Kingdom took advantage. We get the big spike power driver for the win, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. And then post-match, Roderick Strong comes in and delivers a high knee to Jamison, taking him out before going back and falling over his wheelchair back on the outside and breaking his wheelchair in the process. What did you think about the Kingdom versus Iron Savages and Roderick Strong being Roderick Strong?
Well, I say yes. Roderick Strong, MVP of the match, as no brainer. Just put the belts on Kingdom already. I think we've had this conversation for months now. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we wasting time? Why?
It has been like this has been a while. We've been saying the
Yo,
Kingdom
right.
should be Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. Like, what are we doing already? Like, let's get to it. But
Like,
and then
maybe.
we got and look at the ticket sales for fucking Final Battle. Final Battle, they haven't even sold 1,000 tickets because they are not building towards it. And the simplest thing they could do is naming a Kingdom versus MJF and a partner of his choice matchup. But I don't even think they're gonna do it anymore.
Yeah, they're probably done with that unless this devil reveal or mass situation gets figured out in the next month. But even so, it won't be before Final Battle because I feel like they saved that for World's End. So it's just what the hell.
I don't know
what.
what.
Wait, they technically they could if since Joe is technically filling in for Adam right now.
Yeah.
Them having a match at Final Battle could play into their story for going into World's End. So especially if they're about to face them, if they're about to face the Masked Men. So that I feel like that could work. I mean, that's if they do it. I don't know.
No, you might be onto something that they're probably doing this matchup. Maybe they're doing this matchup on Wednesday to set up this challenge from the Kingdom and then the backstage segment with Joe and the Kingdom and Strong makes more sense now.
So I think that could be and then that's how you take the belts off them because there's no reason why MGF still has that title when Cole's been fucking hurt since September. And like, are we serious? This is you really don't give a fuck about Ring of Honor, Tony. You make that clear. You make that clear more and more. You just you want to put your dick on the table because you're a billionaire. And that's really all it boils down to for you.
Hey,
don't give a
Ring of Honor would just be a tape library if it wasn't for Tony.
Yeah, well, it feels like it. That's what it feels like now.
Well, speaking of someone who was on Ring of Honor, usually on Ring of Honor, All Ego, Ethan Page is backstage with Lexi Nair, and he has requested this time. He says, ever since losing to MJF in Canada, he says Page has had to regroup. He is in the best physical shape of his life, and he is on a roll over on Ring of Honor. So now he wants to check off something on his bucket list. He says AEW is heading back to Canada next week. And if he wants to be the King of Canada, he needs his crown. And that crown currently sits on someone else's head. To be the King of Canada, Ethan Page has to beat Kenny Omega. So he has thrown out the challenge, and it was made official at the end of the show. All Ego Ethan Page going one-on-one with the cleaner, Kenny Omega, in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. The match will be taped on Tuesday. It will air next Saturday on Collision. What did you think about the challenge from All Ego Ethan Page? And does this match excite you in any which way?
I feel like the way Ethan Page has been promoting himself very much on social media about how his career has been thankful to Tony Khan and he's in amazing shape. I feel like this is going to be that showing for him. He's going to have one of the coming out moments.
When I first saw Ethan Page, he was like when I first saw Kevin Owens. And like Kevin Owens, since I first saw him, has gotten bigger, and Ethan Page has gotten the opposite way. He's like in the best shape of his career.
So I feel like this is going to be a resurgence moment for him. I don't see him obviously beating Kenny Omega. And a question, I guess now since we're about to get pay-per-views every month from AEW, that they're going away with the specials because technically this week should have been Winter is Coming.
I think maybe the 13th, the December 13th Dynamite is going to be Winter is Coming. But you would think with the card that they lined up for this Wednesday that would be a Winter is Coming.
That's why I looked at the card. I was looking at the card this morning. I'm like, is this not Winter is Coming? Okay.
Going back to Montreal, they go big. I will say they
go in Montreal, cold as fuck.
But every time they go to Canada, they deliver big. Like you had last year last year when they first went, they did Orange Cassidy versus Pac. That's when Orange Cassidy won the international championship. And they did Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Then this year when they went to Winnipeg, they did that big trios 3-way with House of Black, the Elite, and Jericho Appreciation Society. And then here they're doing Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, and they're doing Eddie Kingston and Claudio Castagnoli. So they go big every time they in Canada.
I just feel like this was a missed opportunity because it's in fucking Montreal, which is cold as fuck. Winter's coming. Duh. But
Man, they'll probably do it in Texas. You know, they love
right,
slave
yeah.
states.
Yeah. Slave states. The only thing cold is the white people's heart in Texas. So I don't understand why they save it there. Whatever.
The words and opinions of Sober Guy JJ do not necessarily reflect those of True Heel Heat, its viewers, or affiliates.
Damn, I said that out loud.
Well, you got white people in Texas sitting up there like,
I'm not going to sit back and take this fucking shit.
My bad, my Caucasian people.
Caucasian Texans. Sorry. he's like, y'all my favorite rednecks. We got a recap of the history between Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Martinez. Willow mentioning that she has never scored a singles win over Mercedes Martinez, and she doesn't like her jumping Chris Statlander last week, so she's coming for a rematch coming up soon. It wasn't announced for when, but I like I said earlier, I like them going over this, establishing their history with one another, that Martinez has Willow's number, and it's something for Willow to overcome and feel like it's a big win. What did you 100%. Think about the video package?
It goes to show that when done right, things can mean more. And them having that video package for that, even though we don't know when they're gonna have the match officially, it makes more sense. It has more depth. Well, with that video package, I'm assuming they'll actually have a feud for a while, and not just a one-off. Could be wrong, but the outside of the women's title thing with Toni Storm, I feel like the women's division as a whole needs a boost.
I think it is getting a boost because we have now that with that whole thing with Mercedes Martinez and Diamante versus Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale, which I think is the bigger feud. I think this is just going to be like a TV matchup to build to that tag match. That's now the second non-title women's program that they got going on. Because they also have the whole Soraya, Ruby Soho, Angelo Parker, and Anna Jay thing going on. Then they also got Sky Blue and Timeless Toni Storm and Mariah May in that whole thing as well. And now we also got Julia Hart and Abaddon. That's 4 feuds. So I think
the Abaddon shit, that's gonna go. That's gonna be.
But I'm sorry.
Something going on right now.
I'm sorry. Like we gotta people. We need to understand. If we're always just going to complain about, oh, they need to do more, we need to do more. When they are doing more, we need to acknowledge it or they'll stop doing it. Like I keep telling y'all, like I'm just letting y'all know. I have learned from times that I have been like this with Tony Khan. Tony Khan will just stop using them if we don't acknowledge the fact that he is.
That's true, but I just hope like after this feud for Willow and Mercedes, this leads to something bigger for them. Like Willow, I feel like she should have been in the title hunt for a while now. So,
he that's one of his biggest booking fumbles of the year.
So
Willow
hopefully, after this feud with Mercedes, since they're trying to make this a big deal, this leads to something bigger for hopefully an eventual winner of this feud, Willow Nightingale. That's all. That's all I mean.
All right, next up, we had some tag team action. It was the House of Black, Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews going up against Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal. I thought Matt Sydal was very energetic in this matchup, kind of showing off his athleticism, his high-flying prowess. But, of course, it wasn't enough as the House of Black overwhelmed both Daniels and Sydal, getting the win with the big black mass, which they're calling now the end. The knockout kick by Malachi Black is now called the end as he hit that on Daniels to pick up the win for the House of Black. After the match, the lights go out, and when they come back on, FTR come to the ring. They try to get on the mic, but Black gets on the mic before them, and he assumes that they are here because they are joining the House of Black. Black knows they are family men, and the only family that have been there for FTR are the House of Black. Black has been a lot of things, but he has never told a lie. He places the microphone on the mat and offers it to Dax to pick up. When Dax picks it up, he gets blasted with a big knee by Buddy Matthews. They go after Wheeler, double team him, and then they make Dax watch as Black picks him up and hits the end on him as well. Black takes the mic again, and he says that no one is coming for them. They have no friends left. And then he picks up Dax and he delivers the Black Mass, the end, to Dax as well, laying out FTR. And this is another what I say, like AEW doing something a little bit different. This is a major non-title feud, it seems, with FTR and House of Black here. And I like that FTR, I like the promo work that Malachi Black has been doing about establishing that FTR has lost everything. They lost the tag team titles, they've lost all their friends, and he's basically making it feel like they have no other choice but to join up with them in the House of Black.
Which also brings me to like, damn, is this leading to somebody helping them? So that would be cool. I don't know who.
I don't know who would be Adam Copeland.
I thought about that, but I feel like this Edge, Jesus. This Christian and Copeland feud is gonna like go on for a little bit, at least till like World's End. Like I feel like they're definitely gonna have another match at World's End. So
maybe Andrade.
He needs it.
Well, no, Andrade's busy with Miro, but I'm
Yeah,
just
well,
saying.
yeah.
I'm just tossing out names here.
But it definitely can't be
Scorpio
Phil,
Sky.
yeah.
Get it back on TV. God damn it. We got in the chat here, Christopher Kids like, Tony, like, y'all talk when I'm not. Y'all better talk when I do. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what I think Tony Khan is like, yo. Y'all niggas, I'm featuring these women. I got 4 feuds in the women's division. That is more. I'll be honest. That's actually probably more than what WWE's doing. And they have what 5 hours of television. I'm just saying, just comparing apples to oranges here. We got also Christopher Kidd who says they're doing much more than the norm for the women's division. They just are. They're just devoting more time to the women's division. You're not getting, the multiple matches, which is still a thing that I think he needs to do more often, is give them multiple matches on either a Collision or a Dynamite or both. But he's devoting more time to them and letting them tell some stories, which we'll get into what we talk about next here as we go backstage to Renee Paquette, who had the AEW Women's World Champion, Timeless Tony Storm, with her. Storm says that, why are you even here? Where's RJ City? I'm like him much better. She can't believe she was unceremoniously interrupted by Sky Blue during her championship presentation last week. Her advice to Sky is to walk backwards, as the only time anyone has anything nice to say about you is when they're taking pictures of your bottom. But fine, Storm accepts. Blue can be the first challenger to her title. Storm is barefoot, but she says, chin up, tits out. Oh my, I'm barefoot. Give me 1 second. She takes off Renee's shoe and then tosses it at her. Renee legit, when she said that the only time they pay attention to you is when they're taking pictures of your bottom. Renee, you had to call for the man because Renee was corpsing. Renee was definitely 100% corpsing on that one. Back from commercial break, and we hear from the challenger, Sky Blue, who says that Timeless Stormy Storm's a midlife crisis is pathetic. She hasn't met this version of Sky Blue yet. So bring your butler, the blonde bimbo, talking about Mariah May, and the 1940s crap stuffed up that robe, and Storm better bring her best, as Sky will have her chin up, her tits out, and she will shove her shoe right up her ass. Those two women will fight for the AEW Women's World Championship. I did like Sky Blue mentioning the bomb bimbo because during Tony Storm's promo, she mentioned that she was waiting to get her hair done, but some blonde flussy was in the chair with her hairdresser and kept her waiting. So she had to not get her hair done before she came for the interview. So that was another hint that she was talking about Mariah May there. But what did you think about the two promos from the champion and challenger here? JJ? Is JJ falling asleep? Nigga! Did you just fall asleep? JJ, hello. Yeah, this nigga done fall asleep right on camera. Not even a watch along. This is not even a watch along. JJ! This is not even a watch along, folks. This nigga done fell asleep on a review. On a review, my nigga. Did he? I'm just gonna continue on. But yes, good promo from both Timeless Tony Storm and Sky Blue here. We get a video package hyping up Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage on Dynamite. We then get a pre-match promo from Kip Sabian before the next contest on the show. It's Kip Sabian versus El Hijo del Vikingo going one-on-one with one another here. Kip Sabian says in the pre-match promo that for our next contest, he's going to allow us for him to give a hot take. And his hot take is Vikingo is the most overrated wrestler on the AEW roster. I did not know Vikingo was on the AEW roster. That is news to me, but hey, if he is, more power to you. Shit, that's a great guy to have on your roster. Ilya the Vikingo versus Kip Sabian here. This was, a clash of styles as Kip Sabian does more of like your technical wrestling and more of you're versing one of the top luchadors, one of the top high flyers in the world in Vikingo. Kip Sabian tried to ground Vikingo a couple of times, but really he was here to bump around for Vikingo, and he made Vikingo look really good. In the end, Vikingo hit the double knees in the corner, followed by the 630 to pick up the win. 8 minutes, 5 seconds. Vikingo looking good here, and he's being protected as of late with being more in tag team actions, preventing his offense from being overexposed. And here he was able to have a single showcase and pick up a good win in a fun matchup against Kip Sabian. Love Kip Sabian getting an opportunity in this one here. This dude is just like, it's like he's on the bus. It's like this motherfucker's on the bus and he's like moving back and forth. It's like he's on the bus and he's moving back. Yo, I've never seen this shit before. You would think this nigga's on the bus. He is sleeping and he is moving like he is on a bus, but this nigga is just on his couch trying not to fall over. Oh my God. This is one of the best moments in True Hill Heat history. Thank you, everyone who's joined me for this one. It says, JJ, wake up. Oh man, we also got Christopher saying, JJ, this better be a bit, my nigga. Oh, come on, JJ, please tip over. Please tip over. Christopher Kidd says if JJ tips over, he will tip me $20. He will tip us $20. Come on, JJ, please tip over. Christopher Kidd says this is laughable, but I hope he's okay. He legit, yes. This is legit happening. You're watching this in live time. This is legit happening. Yes, JJ has fallen asleep on me here. I'm alone, folks. I am alone. Next, we hear from Lexi Nair. She's backstage with Keith Lee. Keith Lee asks Keith Lee, who is him? As he talked about last week, that he is coming after him. And here comes Shane Taylor, who says he knows exactly who him is. They have unfinished business. So he wants Shane Taylor versus Keith Lee at Final Battle and promising to give the people what they really want. And Taylor will beat Lee in front of the entire world on the big stage. And Keith Lee accepts. So another big match for Final Battle, Keith Lee versus Shane Taylor, a match I've been wanting ever since Keith Lee came to All Elite Wrestling, ever since AEW acquired Ring of Honor and Shane Taylor has been appearing on AEW and Ring of Honor television. I've been wanting Shane Taylor, the Pretty Boy Killers, to go one-on-one, and we're going to get it at Final Battle a week from this coming Friday. So got that to look forward to. Something else besides Athena and Billy Starks to sell people on. Come on, just tip over. Tip over. Tip over. Tip over. That counts as a tip over, right? No. Damn it. We'll only tip over. Okay. Can we get a $5 donation for the almost tip over? He was like 4/5 of the way from being completely tipped over here. I could have really removed him from the screen already, but this is too funny. This is too funny for me to remove him from the screen, folks. Next up, post break, we get Lexi Nair. She's backstage with CJ Perry. She congratulates her on her client's big win in the Continental Classic. But here comes Miro, her husband. Perry prevents him from going into the room. He starts banging on Miro on Andrade's dressing room door. She knows Miro thinks bad things will happen, but she has to prove herself. She says he's a grown man, so she won't stand in her way. He's a grown man, so she won't stand in his way if he really wants to head inside. But if he has any love for her, he'll let her do this and let her find her own way and don't lay a hand on her client. Miro accepts this and he promises he won't lay a hand on him. And we got a tip over. I consider that a tip over. Christopher Kidd, he's done. He's out. He's out. He's no longer on the bus. He's off the bus, or he's got a comfortable. Oh no. He's raising from the dead. He's raising from the dead. Just tip over. Relax. You're at home. Just sleep. Go ahead. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Come on. Just tip over. We need this $20 tip. This is great. This is great. And we only got the main event left. So it's like he fell asleep. He fell asleep at the end. We got Christopher Kidd saying, stay upright, JJ. No, he's done. He's done. That's a tip over. That is a tip over, folks. He is tipped over. He is now relaxed on his. No. Oh, he's going to rise. He's going to rise. He's going to rise. Christopher Kidd saying the dead has risen. Has he risen? I don't know. No, he's tipped over. He's tipped over. It's a wrap. I won the bet. Christopher Kidd, I expect to see that super chat donation. He's tipped over. It's out for the count. And yes, all we have left to discuss is the main event. And yes, I'm going to wax lyrically about this one. Bryan Danielson going one-on-one with Eddie Kingston, their second clash in All Elite Wrestling. They faced all the way back in 2021 as part of the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament. And oh my God, he's awake!
Holy shit. Did I really fall asleep on the thing? I can't even hear you. Oh my God.
Oh my God. I saw it in the backstage. I was like, oh wait, is that his eyes?
I can't hear you. I'm gonna go back.
Can't make this stuff up. Only on Collision Discourse, folks. Only on Collision Discourse. Bryan Danielson going one-on-one with Eddie Kingston. Their first clash in All Elite Wrestling was all the way back in the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament back in 2021, prior to AEW Full Gear. These two men had a ripper, one of the matches of the year of that year, and this one had a lot of anticipation heading in, and boy, oh boy, did it live up to every bit of it. We had eye patch Bryan Danielson, which I haven't seen since about 2007, and his clashes with Takeshi Morishima, which bravo to Kevin Kelly, my good friend Kevin Kelly, for mentioning that on commentary. Here we go. We get kind of the feeling out process early on. We get Kingston blocking some kicks. Bryan backs him away into the ropes, and then Kingston gets a few shots to the midsection in the corner. They lock up against the ropes until the referee breaks them up. Danielson chops Eddie hard as he backs away. Then they trade a few kicks. Bryan gets another chop in the corner, but Eddie fires back with a lightning whip of a huge chop that knocks Danielson on his ass. And Danielson was like, all right, you want to play like that? We get some grappling on the floor, some wrestling, some catch as catch can. Danielson capitalizes for a momentary pause and grounds Eddie. We get a kick to the back and Eddie some chops to the chest. We get Eddie wants some more chops as they're trading off for a bit in this one. We get Eddie pulling his straps down, and he asks for more. Another big chop, kicks to the chest. We get Snapmare takeover, a seated surfboard with the knee to the back. German suplex by Bryan. Dragon boots him on the apron. He heads to the floor with him, but Eddie catches him for a back suplex on the floor before we go to commercial break. Kingston rolls Danielson back in, but Dragon rolls through to the other side. Eddie continues to chop Dragon against the announce table, nearly taking them all over the announce table. We get machine gun chops to the chest. At this point, Bryan's chest is just like beat red. We get a back suplex by Eddie, then the spinning back fist, the Ergen for a 2 count. Bryan reverses one Ergen into a Regalplex. Then he follows up with another Regalplex for a 2 count. We get he gets him into the label lock, but Kingston fights out of it. We get a slap exchange with Kingston bringing down like ground and pound right on the broken orbital bone side of Bryan's face. Just brutal stuff. We get big chops, big kicks in the end, big kick to the head for a near fall. Bryan keeps going for the label lock, but Kingston's able to fight out of it. Bryan then finally gets him with the stomps to the head, but then he passes out from all the pain that he's been through. We get this great shot with both men struggling to get to their feet, but Kingston is resilient and defiant, giving Bryan the middle finger before Bryan fires up. He goes into the corner, hits a big psycho knee to the head, and gets the win to get his first 3 points in the AEW Continental Classic. An absolute fantastic matchup and the best matchup of the Continental Classic so far, in my opinion. Bryan Danielson picking up the win. These guys have insane chemistry together. And what a year for Bryan Danielson. The year isn't over. He's still got more matches in this tournament. But my God, I have never seen someone miss like 3, 4, 5 months worth of injury, but had this many great matches. And then I love the dejection on Kingston's face, especially after Bryan gets a Eddie is a bum sign from the crowd and drops it on him as we close the show. What did you think about Kingston Danielson 2?
Match was so great, it woke me up. Definitely. Oh man, this was a great collision, man. Another banger. Great match, and it just showed Eddie's resilience, which kind of makes me want him to be in the finals more. This is. I feel like just the story they've been telling with this. I feel like he's putting everything on the line. So and then with this match, I feel like he's definitely one of the guys to be in the finals.
It kind of makes me feel like I want it to be Kingston and Swerve now. After this
that could definitely be. Bryan doesn't need this. Let's be serious. Bryan will be fine. This is one of those moments, and it's in New York, so I feel like one of the fellow New Yorkers gotta be in this kind of match. So I feel like, and then now with him raising the stakes, I forget, now thinking about it again, him raising the stakes with his belts, I feel like that alone also plays into him being in the finals as well. So, but great match, great freaking match, man. This is a
fantastic match. I think it's like a top 5 Collision match. They've had some belters on Collision, like the FTR, Bullet Club Gold, MJF and Kenny Omega, Bryan and Starks in the Texas Death Match. This match, like, Andrade and Buddy Matthews. They've had some classics on Collision in the first 6 months of it.
100% agree with you.
We got a super chat donation. You missed out. We were having a bet in the chat. Christopher Kidd said he was going to give us a $20 donation if you tipped over, because I was noticing you fell asleep, but it was like you fell asleep and were trying to stay upright at the same time. So it was like you fell asleep and you were on a fucking bus, bro. You were like this. You were like,
you know what's the sad part? I'm so used to falling asleep like that now. It's probably why I don't fall over. Because I'll just be so damn tired.
We got a super chat donation from Christopher Kidd who says, I won the bet, but I'll still donate. This match was what it needed to be. Pirate DB versus Desperate Eddie is magic to watch. The sign spot was killer. Yes. I loved every bit of this, especially the finish was just like, oh my God, this is great. I watched it a second time just before the review, and I got fired up once again watching this matchup. This is what I call an absolute banger. This is what the tournament needed. The tournament's had a bunch of great matches, like Rouge versus Mark Briscoe, Rouge versus Jay White versus Swerve, but I felt like this match was another level up from what we've gotten so far.
Yes, 100%. And that's like you said. I feel like this is what the tournament needed. Like, oh damn, shit. Okay, maybe we really need to like pay attention. Like,
yeah. We got Christopher Kidd who says, so when I said Bryan doesn't need to win earlier, y'all scoffed at me.
I didn't necessarily scoff. I just felt like it would be like Bryan missing a tournament. Like this, he's really there through the announcement. We know this is the last year of his career, so it's like, ugh. But this puts a little damper in that. That's the whole point of the tournament, not knowing who's going to win. It's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Not when you see a fucking tournament and you kind of be like, oh, he's going to win, whatever. Nobody cares. Like, I really don't know who's going to win this.
Yeah, there's all up in the air. I do like that it's not predictable who's going to win this tournament. Bryan's considered a favorite by many. Swerve, Moxley, Jay White, Kingston, those are the names that are being taken up. And then you got someone like Brody King, who's been kind of a spotlight of the whole tournament. And then Rouge, who I think has been the MVP as far as like maximizing the minutes. Like everybody's been very much been filling their roles very well in the tournament so far.
100% agree with you, good brother.
But that brings us to a close on another AEW Collision. Y'all know what to do. Sound off in the live chat. Let us know your match of the night, your MVP, LVP, whether you gave the show a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, and out of 10, what did you give the show overall? For myself and the sober guy, JJ, we'll put our thumbs in the middle for the December 2nd, 2023 edition of AEW Collision in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board from both of us. JJ, what did you give the show out of 10?
I feel like all the tournament matches delivered. That Bryan and Kingston match was freaking great. I feel like just because of that main event alone, I could bump it to 8. I was going to do 7.5, but I could put it at 8.
I'm going to go to 8.5. I think that the Kingston Danielson upped it even more than it would have. I think even without that matchup, this is a really good show. But with that matchup, it's a great show. So I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. That matchup, Danielson, Kingston, phenomenal. You had a really good Garcia versus Andrade matchup, a banger of an opener with Claudio and Brody. Some good stuff, some good women's building with the Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Martinez vignette, as well as Abaddon and Julia Hart, and the promos by Timeless Tony Storm and Sky Blue. I like the things that they're doing, and even the little undercard feud with House of Black and FTR is interesting as well.
Mm-hmm.
We got a couple of people in the chat giving their choices here. We got Christopher Kidd who says match of the night, Dragon versus Kingston. We got Christopher Kidd who says House of Black is his MVP. Chris, the other Chris, saying 9 out of 10 for the show. What did you give the match of the night, JJ?
Oh, come on, man. No question. Bryan and Kingston, man.
Bryan and Kingston by a country mile. Yes, indeed. MVP for the show, though.
House of Black, Herb and FTR again.
Yeah, I got to give it to House of Black for that, and Brody King picking up the win, and then Julia Hart confronting Abaddon. It was a very House of Black heavy show.
Yeah. Black Friday. Yeah. Or Black Saturday.
Black Saturday got the days wrong. And your LBP for the show.
LVP for this. Hey, I don't know. The Eddie is a bum sign after losing. That kind of, damn, like burn. That's a burn. But he had such a great performance with Bryan. I don't want to give him the LVP. So,
I'm gonna go with Garcia. 0-2.
Yeah, I'm about to say Garcia will have to be my next person. That Eddie is a bum sign after losing. It's such a burn. But yeah, I'll just choose. Yeah, I'm gonna choose a guy from upstate New York, not from the city. Then Garcia.
It's like fuck Buffalo. Who cares?
Right.
I love it. But yes, let us know in the comments if you're watching us on demand. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought about this week's Collision. And since we're in the Continental Classic, should we let the people know we're going to be back next week? Are we going to be back next week?
We will be back next week. Yes.
Yes, we're going to be giving you the coverage of what's going on in the Continental Classic, over in the Blue League, over on Collision. So join us here next week. Is Monday again, or?
No, we should just make it Mondays official.
All right.
Only because Mondays is my easy day because I don't have anything to do when I get off work besides sleep, as you can see.
Perfect. That works out perfect, especially towards the end of the year, because I don't see any pay-per-views on Sunday, so that works. So great there. So we'll be back next Monday with another edition of Collision Discourse. But JJ, until then, let the people know where they can follow you.
Follow me on Instagram, Hacksaw_J_Duggan, Twitter, Sober Guy JJ. Might have to say my name, the Sleepy Guy JJ. The gang's everywhere: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pornhub, Stone Next, Black Planet, Christian Mingle, Live Harmony, eHarmony, Farmers Only, True Hill Heat. Wherever there's a website, True Hill Heat is probably there. Pro Wrestling Tees as well, True Hill Heat, Beat Your Meat. How it go?
True Hill Heat, beat your meat. There you go. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at True Hill SP3. Follow the gang: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Hill Heat. When we are not here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, we appreciate folks like Christopher Kidd who donated to us with a super chat. But you can do so while we're not here on screen at patreon.com/True Hill Heat, where you got the True Hill Heat Prediction Championship plus exclusive content like Hardcore Rewind that is up right now. You could go over and take a look at that for just $3 a month. Exclusive content will keep you up to date on everything going on with True Hill Heat at patreon.com/True Hill Heat. And go over to prowrestlingtees.com/True Heels or foryourwear.com/True-Heel-Heat to get your True Hill Heat merchandise. And you can post on social media and tag us when you do to show us who's rocking the True Hill Heat gear. And we got one last super chat donation. Thank you so much, Ches Nasty. Mr. Nasty Man, appreciate you with a big super chat donation. Thank you so much. He says, fire show as always fun listening. Thank you so much. We always appreciate the love, the support from all of y'all in the chat. Always bringing the goods. We'll be back here live on tomorrow.
Monday.
No.
Sorry.
Tomorrow we'll be live with myself and Romeo, 2:05 p.m. Eastern time, with Rated Raw reviewing tonight's Monday Night Raw. So join us live for that tomorrow. Thank you so much to Mr. Nasty. Thank you so much to Christopher Kidd for the super chat donation. Thank you so much to everyone who is watching us live, watching us on demand. For Sober Guy JJ, it is me, your True Hill. This has been Collision Discourse number 16 for the December 2nd, 2023 edition of AEW Collision. We are signing off until next time.